What's up? What's up? What's up, good people? What's going on? August 1st? August 1st? August 1st. August 1st. Yo, this time is going by fast. Like real fast. And before you know it, it's going to be Christmas. And you guys are just going to go out and go run and get all these gifts and get Mark Lewis a gift. You're going to go out and get all these gifts. Before you know it, you're a blink and it's election season. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining. What's going on, Sarah? I hear you out there doing incredible work. I understand that you have a protest and a rally that's planned in reference to the jail and dealing with immigration. So thanks for joining. Also, what's up, Shonda? What's going on, Kiana? And everyone else who just joined, welcome. Do me a favor, please share this video. It could be helpful and useful to you. Maybe not now, but probably in the future, because it's going to be some things that you probably want to kind of like explain to your friends. Because you know what happens. I get a lot of calls all the time, a lot of emails, and people say, well, Mark, did you go over this? And I was like, yeah, just go back to this video. And I kind of explained it. It was like, yeah. And a lot of you guys need the tools to explain to your family members and to your friends about how politics sometimes works. So tonight during my commentary, I'm going to kind of go over some things that may be beneficial. All right. Y'all ready to get into this? Do me a favor, share this video, get into it. Let's get into this. Let's go all the way to Tulsa. Tulsa's been in the news a lot lately, especially with the lady who, didn't wear her seatbelt. Oh no, she didn't want to sign a ticket. And so that made national news. And Tulsa seems to have a lot of national news. But I guarantee you this here pretty soon will be in the national news really soon. So let me set this up for you guys. There was a guy, his name is Chris Barnett. He was being served. See, some of you guys probably read about this story. He was being served papers by a process server, and he ended up shooting this process server. And so he's citing self-defense. That's what he's citing. So I want to make sure that this is what he is citing. So he's citing self-defense. This is him right here. This is what he's citing. He's saying, hey, the process server came to me and he did not, I'm assuming he felt threatened. This is why a person would literally cite self-defense, but apparently he feels that he was threatened in some type of way. Well, what's interesting is that his I assume his attorney released the video today of the actual shooting, and I won't put words in your mouth. I'm gonna play that video now so you guys can see the video. There's no sound to it, but I'm gonna play the video to you now so you guys can kind of see what happened in the video, and you tell me, do you guys feel that Mr. Barnett was threatened? I mean, just by looking at the video. Mind you, this video was sent to the media today by his team. And as you can see here, I'm going to put it as full screen so that way you guys can see it here. Yeah, let's see here. See if I can play it. There we go. Okay, let me see if it'll play. Somehow it seems like it's not gonna play. But anyway, let me see if I can get it to play. So anyway, the video is of the process server going actually to the home of Mr. Barnett and showing the video. So somehow I cannot get this video to start, which is crazy. Okay, let's do this. So anyway, yeah, technical issues. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can get it started now. I think this will work here. Let me bring it up on the screen. Hope you guys, I'm sorry for the delay here. Hey, what's going on, everyone who just joined? We're talking about the story of Chris Barnett, the process server who was shot. Chris Barnett shot the process server. So that's what we're talking about here. And I'm trying to see if we can get this video to actually play here. I don't know why it went to. Sorry, guys. Let's see. There we go. All right, let's see if we can get it to play here. See if it will play. Not sure why it's acting like it doesn't want to play. Okay, like I said, this video has no sound to it. All right, there you go. So it's playing here. As you can see, the process server, I don't know his name right off now, but you can see that the process server is standing at the front of the door. Looks like he is conversing with Chris Barnett. As you can see by him conversing, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys are seeing this. It looks like it froze. I'm sorry about that, guys. Let me see if I can get this back here. Sorry about that if it froze on you guys. I didn't know it froze. Let me try to get this back to you guys right here. All right. Technical difficulties, yo. Technical difficulties going live. So now you know this is legit. So you guys won't think that, oh, Mark Lewis is faking this stuff. No, this is legitimate. So I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Let me see if I can get it back up here. All right. What's up, Sandra? Thanks for joining. What's going on? Jordan. All right, Chris Barnett. Let's bring this back up here. I'm not going to go full screen. Let's just go here. This is him with the process server here. As you can see, he is with the process server. And this particular process server is trying to serve him some type of papers. Okay. I don't know exactly what he was serving. There's no sound to the video. This is just motion. Now, his team, his attorney defense team, released this video today, and it's interesting. So as you can tell, he is having some type of dialogue or conversation. We don't know what words have been said. As you can see, the process server steps away. I'm assuming he's about 3 feet, maybe go 6 feet, 8 feet, 20 feet away from him. Words were exchanged. As you can see, the gunshot right there, about 20 feet away. As you guys can see that. So I'm going to rewind this again. So you guys could see actually how far he was away from him. So at this point, the process server is not a threat at this point. I mean, he's that far away. I don't know what words were said, but he's not that close to him. So I'm just going to play the video here, and he's shot right there. The process server takes off, runs, and ultimately the defense team for Mr. Barnett is basically saying that it was self-defense. I mean, that's what they're saying. They're saying this was self-defense. I don't know how they came up with that. How do you guys feel about this? I have no clue how they came up with self-defense. I mean, are you guys seeing self-defense? Because I'm not seeing self-defense. I'm seeing more of the guy just walking away. I mean, that's what I see. Now, maybe words was exchanged, but I don't see a threat. I just don't see a threat. Do you guys see a threat? Because I don't see a threat. Hey, what's up, Miss Frazier? I don't see a threat. I don't. So, I mean, to walk away from someone for, the threat is gone. So anyway, his defense team, the person who shot him, his name is Chris Barnett. His defense team decided to his defense team decided to release this video. I guess he feels it is going to help his case. I got nothing. I don't know. I mean, to me, it looks like Mr. Barnett is about to go to prison. That's exactly what it looks like to me. It doesn't appear that anything. Shelly, you said, was he defending himself from an air assault against him? In all seriousness, Mr. Barnett is saying that the words was exchanged and he said he felt threatened. That's what he said. I don't know what words was exchanged. All I can tell you is that this is interesting. That's all I can tell you. I don't know exactly what words were exchanged, but all I can tell you is that this is interesting. So whatever went down, I think bro is getting ready to go to jail. That's what I think. I think he's going to go to prison for a long, long, long time. All right, let me move on to something else. This guy here, let me bring it on the screen here. This guy here, his name is Daniel Holtzclaw. You guys probably remember him. He was the person that was convicted of rape in 2016. He actually was sentenced to 263 years in prison. Yes, that's a long time. So Daniel Holtzclaw appealed today. He was waiting on an appeal for his particular case, and his appeal was denied. And let me read something here. It says the Oklahoma Court of Appeals unanimously rejected an appeal by Daniel Holtzclaw that include a lack of evidence, excessive sentencing, prosecutorial misconduct, a serious circus atmosphere during his trial, and failure by the defense attorney to present an expert to offer an alternative explanation to how DNA of one victim wound up in Holtzclaw's pants. Also, it says that but the court found that he failed to show such evidence would supply the theory of how the girls, So he lost his appeal today, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Holtzclaw lost his appeal, and this is a win for the community. I want to give shout out to, I believe it's Oklahoma Artists for Justice. I think that's the group who kind of spearheaded this from a community level. Oklahoma Artists for Justice. Shout out to you guys. Also, I think in conjunction with the activist grassroots was the BLM Black Lives Matter chapter out in Oklahoma City. So shout out to those people to keep that story alive, and also for the victims. So wanted you guys to know he got his appeal denied. This was something big that he was waiting on. Unfortunately, he got it denied. And that's where we are right now. So his family is pissed, as usual. Of course they are. And so we go from there. That's where we go from there. All right, guys, let me go on to this next story here. We're talking about the Office of Independent Monitoring. This is a group that the mayor has decided to put together in Tulsa. He wanted to put together this Office of Independent Monitoring. At first, I was skeptical because I was like, I don't know. We need to find out whether or not, what's up, Miss Alex? We need to find out whether or not it is something legitimate. My biggest thing is always about changing the policies. Because if you don't change the policies, it doesn't matter who's monitoring, because if the policies are not changing, it doesn't matter, right? So today, Mayor Bynum is urging the councilors to create an ordinance on this independent monitoring. So let me go to the story here. The story says that Mayor Bynum presented to the councilors on Wednesday a proposed ordinance creating an Office of Independent Monitoring, saying that it would provide protection for police officers and citizens alike. The Office of Independent Monitoring, as outlined in the ordinance, will review police use of force incidents review best practices, and make policy recommendation, and conduct community outreach. Although the use of force element of the program has drawn the most attention, Bynum said he believes the Office of Independent Monitoring other responsibilities are equally important. So let me continue reading. He says a key element of the independent monitoring policy efforts will be to assess the effectiveness of the city's community policing program and provide recommendations to improve it. I think it's important, this is Bynum saying, we have an independent group, not the mayor's office, not the police department, looking at it and being able to tell the police department, the mayor's office, the counselors, and others, here what you're doing well, here what you need to improve. Bynum said that the police department has made great strides in its outreach effort. He also goes on to say, but we also realize that though there is a benefit to having this independent entity, that you can do community outreach and bring more ideas to the table. So let me go on to this part right here, because I want you guys to see this part here. This is the part that actually I knew that was going to happen. So I'm going to read it to you. It says, the mayor made clear that the independent monitoring role in reviewing use of force incidences would be limited to reviewing police internal affairs investigation to ensure that they are done properly. The Office of Independent Monitoring would have no authority to discipline officers or recommend discipline. Then he goes on to say this is simply, if you will, the ability to look at the investigation and point out to the chief. Let me highlight this stuff to you guys. Point out to the chief if the Office of Independent Monitoring feels a policy or a person who should have been interviewed, for example, was overlooked. And then the chief decides whether or not the internal affairs team goes back and follow up on that. What am I supposed to be happy? No. I'm going to keep it real. This is crap. And I'm going to tell you why it's crap. It's crap because when you give a group no authority, they have no validation. When you have a group that has no authority, they have no validation. And when they have no validation, then the community doesn't respect the group. There's nothing worse than to create another damn group without any form of authority. Recommendations. The Tulsa Police Department has plenty of recommendations from my group, from other groups, all over across the country, all over across the city. Recommendations. But they have to come from the Office of Independent Monitoring. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you that this right here is nothing but a smokescreen, in my opinion. This is a smokescreen that allows the police department to say, oh, we have an Office of Independent Monitoring. You take your concerns with them. This, in my opinion, is what this is. This, in my opinion, is not anything that's going to change. Why? Because the Tulsa Police Department knows that policies need to be changed anyway. They have no authority. They're only making recommendations. So if the chief of police at the time, whether it is the current chief of police now or future chief of police, whether they agree with it or not, they end up turning it over to internal affairs. Then internal affairs investigates. Don't they do that already? I mean, they do it already, right? So now we're going to create another group. And this is when they first came out with this. I was like, it's a step. But now the whole details are out and you have no authority. Why would you create a group without having any authority? Why would you create a group that you could not go after them civilly with damages? Why would you create a group? What if you have a friend of a friend of a friend that works at the police department, and the independent monitoring group says that this person did something wrong, but the chief of police doesn't want to do anything? And see, all we're doing is saying we investigated ourselves and we found that we didn't have any problems. This, to me, is crap. And I'm not being negative, because a lot of people will watch this and say, oh, Marq Lewis is just being negative. No, I'm not. Because what this is slapping lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. You still have a problem with Tulsa Police Department. The only difference is that people are now going to give their concerns, instead of to the Tulsa Police Department, they're going to give their concerns to this Office of Independent Monitoring. And this Office of Independent Monitoring, we don't know how often they're going to meet. We don't know anything in reference to, they have no power. So just because they're making recommendations, I mean, how many other groups do we have in Tulsa that makes recommendations? I mean, I wait. It's hundreds of groups that's come out here that come from the mayor's office. There's the women's group. There's this, there's that. I mean, transportation group. They make recommendations. But when you're talking about a situation, talking about police officers, policy recommendations, you don't need a group to recommend policies. You have that already. I mean, this is dumb. It's like we are smarter than this. And I believe that the Tulsans in this area are smarter to look at this and say, this is not good. Just because we have a seat at the table, or you have a group you call Office of Independent Monitoring, but if you restrict them and sit them at the little boys' table, and you tell them to be quiet and they can't come and talk to the big table, then I mean, what do you have? You essentially just, what this is, in my opinion, is creating a group to just flag your concerns with. That's it. I call it a buffer group. That's what I see it is. Okay, Shelly, let me go to you with your question. You said, well, I guess it's nothing else. Attorneys could always subpoena the Office of Independent Monitoring, maybe start bringing things forward, trying to be positive. We can be positive by doing it correctly. If the Office of Independent Monitoring is serious, then they will give them power. I guarantee you, everyone wants the power to discipline. Because what happens if the Office of Independent Monitoring sees a problem and the Tulsa Police Department does not see a problem, or Internal Affairs does not see a problem? We're still at a stalemate. That's where I see this at. I don't see this as being anything strong or moving or anything of that nature. I see this creating another diversion program. We're diverting problems towards the mayor, towards the Tulsa Police Department, and you're going to send them to the Office of Independent Monitoring. And everyone who sits back and says, oh, well, that's a good idea. Ask yourself this question. If you are at your job and you are a supervisor and you do not have the power to fire, or if you do not have the power to write somebody up, what are you essentially? A note taker? If you have no power, then you have no effectiveness, then you have no validity. That's it. So this Office of Independent Monitoring, in my opinion, is crap until you give the people, and because see, here's the deal. How can you hold the Office of Independent Monitoring accountable? Think about it. How can you hold them accountable if they have no power? You can't hold them accountable. In my opinion, and I agree with you, Shelly, this seems like a diversion, a smokescreen. It's just something for us to say, hey, look at us, we're changing. We have an Office of Independent Monitoring. No policies have changed. No 72-hour policy has changed. No review that police officers can see their footage changed. Nothing has changed. Since Terrence Crutcher 2016, Bynum was still mayor. Bynum wasn't mayor, but he also was city councilman at that time. Keep in mind, Bynum has been on the city counselor for years. So he is fully aware of the problems of the Tulsa Police Department. He's fully aware of that. So please don't sit back and act as if, well, he just got there. Nah. You're not dealing with a person who doesn't have understanding on how to handle or what the problems are in this city. You're dealing with an individual who knows what the problems are. And that's in my opinion. He knows what the problems are. So creating an Office of Independent Monitoring, in my opinion, is not going to do anything until you give those people the power. And that's just my opinion, because right now we're at the same scenario. If you're not giving them the power, we're at the same scenario. You just diverted a concern from the police department to the mayor's office, to the Office of Independent Monitoring. That's all you're doing. So if citizens have a concern, I guarantee you, people are going to say, well, we have an Office of Independent Monitoring. Let me tell y'all something else. Do you know that there's a citizen advisory board already that was handpicked by the chief of police? Do you guys know that already? They have given tons of recommendation already. Has anything changed? No. They have no power? No. Do you see my point, what I'm saying? You see how things are going? If you give them no power, like I said, they have no validation. Have none. It's just my opinion. I just want us to be smarter and stop expecting the crumbs from the mayor's office to fall on our lap and saying, well, they are doing something for us. No, you're not. You're not doing anything, because when they that's just like saying to me, and I know I'm on my rant now. That's just like saying, I'm going to give you a house. You can stay in this house all you want to, all day long. You can stay in this house. But you know what? You have no say so on how this house is supposed to go. You have no say so on what you can do in this house. You supposed to just occupy. So to me, the Office of Independent Monitoring is an occupying force. They just want to occupy. And I'm sure some of my good friends will be on the Office of Independent Monitoring. I'm pretty sure they've already got phone calls already asking them. And he probably is choosing people who are in his ear and friends who have his cell phone number and all those different things. He's going to choose those type of people. But I do want my friends to understand that you're being put into a position where you have no power. So at the end of the day, yes, you may have access to look at maybe 1 or 2 investigations, but will you have power to change? No. As a matter of fact, the citizens will have more power than the Office of Independent Monitoring. Why? Because the citizens can demand more change, and the citizens can turn around and file grievances. The citizens can turn around and do these things. The citizens will actually have more power. The citizens can get together and impanel grand juries. The citizens can get together and do more than the Office of Independent Monitoring can do. So what are we really doing? Just my opinion, y'all. Hope you guys getting some from this. I just my opinion. I don't like just dog whistles. I don't like it. I like to have change. I want us to change. I want us to grow. I want us to change some things. I want our kids to not feel afraid of police officers. I want all those things. But that's not going to happen by us sitting back and just accepting things that people throw at us and tell you, here, be happy with this. And so we parade all around and say, okay, cool, this is great. Our community is going to be greater. No, your community is not. Because if your community is greater, your community would be greater now. Why? Because you're going to go out here and tell the people the truth. And that's what the people want to know. The people want to know the truth. Tell people the truth. The Office of Independent Monitoring will have no power. So what good will they do? Tell the people the truth. All right, guys, let me go on to my next statement here. We're going to talk about Representative Will Hurd. Representative Will Hurd. Let's just play some video here and we can segue to that. All right, let me bring this up on the screen.
Marks an important step in the oversight of the electronic health record.
The Hill reported Thursday that Representative Will Hurd, the only African-American Republican in the House of Representatives, has announced his retirement. Hurd said in a statement in part, "I have made the decision to not seek re-election for the 23rd Congressional District of Texas in order to pursue opportunities outside the halls of Congress to solve problems at the nexus between technology and national security." He continued, "While I have 17 months left in my term, I am very proud of the last 55. There were times when it was fun and times when it wasn't. When people were mad, it was my job to listen. When people felt hopeless, it was my job to care. When something was broken, it was my job to find out how to fix it."
I played that video because I wanted to give him at least some type of respect in reference to his tenure, his service that he's had with being a congressman. He is joining a lot of ranks of people saying that, hey, you know, we're leaving. We're done. I'm done. I'm done. Why am I talking about him? Because he's the only African-American sitting congressman in the House, the only African-American sitting congressman in the House who is a Republican. The GOP, the Republicans, have two black people in power in the House. That is Representative Hurd, number one. He's in the House, and you have Tim Scott. He's a Senate. Representative Hurd is from Texas. Tim Scott is from South Carolina. You have only two black people in power for the GOP. That speaks volumes, in my opinion, when you start to talk about diversity. We know that the GOP lacks a huge amount of diversity. So now the GOP is losing their only black Republican congressman in a couple of days. The only one who spoke out against Donald Trump. The only one. They're losing him. They only have one darky in power right now. I can say darky because I can say it. They're only going to have one right now in power. And he's going to be Tim Scott. And he's going to be in the Senate. Only one. So for those who are looking at diversity, you have to turn around and say, what party? And I get in trouble a lot of times when we talk about this, but if I don't care if you belong to a green party, if the party doesn't reflect your values, but the party should also reflect how you look. A party should also reflect how you look. And when you have the races in charge, obviously, black people are not going to flock to this races. There are going to be black people who feel like, well, I don't care what he says. It's all about what I do. But when you lose your only black congressman in the House, that's speaking a big problem within the GOP. So now they're not going to have any congressman at all in the GOP. All right, guys, let me go into my last statement of the night, and I promise you I will let you go. Here's my commentary. Last two nights we saw the Democrats. How does he get replaced? Let me answer, Shelley. How does he get replaced? He doesn't. There has to be an election. He steps down at the end of his term, and they're going to have to be election. He has to go through a primary and all those different things. And he barely won that primary the last time. All right, my commentary. Democrats, it's the economy. Last two nights, we saw Wednesday and Thursday, we saw the Democrats take the stage. Some of your favorites was Elizabeth Warren. Some of your favorites was Bernie Sanders. Some of your favorites was Pete Buttigieg. Some of your favorites was Beto. They had the first night. Then you had, I call it the people of color, second night. Kamala Harris. Sorry. You also had Cory Booker, Castro. He was there. Tulsi Gabbard. So you had a lot of mixture. Yang was on there. So the Democrats, so what's happening? So every time this happens, I get geeky up because I'm a politics head. All right. I sat down, I watched it, and I've watched all the highlights and all that stuff. But one of the things that I see that, and all of the Democrats to me are competing, and they have a lot to learn, but they're learning. This is how elections are won, for you getting to know your candidate. And when you have all of these debates, you start to learn your candidate. I cannot wait till there will be just a roster of maybe 7 candidates to choose from, because we will have a better opportunity to select these people. However, I want the Democrats to face a growing problem. The Democrats are walking away from the economy. Most people would say Donald Trump economy is great. A lot of people would say that. He even says it himself. Oh, we got jobs. We got black unemployment. We got all these different things. And the economy. So, but Democrats are not hitting him on the economy because they feel that, in my opinion, other than Elizabeth Warren, I've heard her say this, they feel as if that the economy, people got jobs, people are okay. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the economy is about to blow up. It's about to boom. There is a boom. There's a growth. Maybe I'm using the wrong term instead of boom. Bust. The economy is about to bust. There's a boom and then there's a bust, right? Why is that happening? Well, it's happening because Donald Trump spin, and the tariffs and the tax bill that occurred. Now, Donald Trump, we know, inherited Obama's economy. Remember back in 2008, there was a recession and unemployment was high. Obama comes in to power and throughout the process normalized the economy. What people have to understand is that the economy should not go absolutely up. The economy shouldn't go absolutely down. There should be a balance in the economy. Okay. Unfortunately, Donald Trump wants the economy to boom. He wants it to skyrocket. He wants to make as much money as he can. Why? Because he is a greedy SOB. That's what he wants to do. But I don't want you guys to sleep on this. He is not alone. Majority of every corporation CEO wants the economy to do what I just said do. Boom. Why? Because they're making money. You remember the tax bill that happened last year with Paul Ryan? A lot of people felt that tax bill because you couldn't get more taxes. I know, Renee, you're watching this. A lot of people didn't get a lot of their refunds that they thought they was going to get due to the tax law that had changed. So a lot of people didn't get their refunds. A lot of people were upset. Summer travel has gone down 8%. So we're going to see, we're waiting to see what's going to happen with the school spending. That's going to forecast to us to find out what's going to happen with Christmas. We're talking economy. I don't want you to get confused. There's a 101, very simple rate. If you can just remember, the economy is a balance. There's sometimes high and there's sometimes low, but there should be a balance. Yesterday, the Federal Reserve did something that they have not done. And I know that a lot of people you missed it. because there was the debate. There was all those different things. You missed it. The Federal Reserve yesterday lowered interest rate. So what does that mean? When interest rates are lowered, that means that it's supposed to pump more money into the economy. Interest rates are lowered, then you or mom and dad, whomever, can refinance their home, refinance their car. They have more money in their pocket to go out there and spend. That's the purpose of lowering interest rates. That's why you lower it, okay? So interest rates was lowered. It's the first time since 2008. Interest rates were lowered the first time since 2008. That's 10 years, y'all. 10 plus years, okay? That's 10 plus years. The first time. What happened in 2008? We had a recession. So they had to keep lowering. There is chatter right now that this is not the only lowering. I was on the phone today with my cousin, and he is, hey, what's up, Will? He is contemplating refinancing his home. And he was like, yo, I was getting ready to refinance my home. Then they lowered the interest rate. But now I think I'm going to wait again because they're going to lower it again in September. Ladies and gentlemen, the interest rate was lowered yesterday. Typically, you will see the stock market boom after the interest rate. The stock market didn't do that. The stock market went down. So what's happening with this economy? I don't know. All I can tell you, it's not good. It's just not good. It's not good at all. Donald Trump sees it not good. And a lot of us, because it hits us. See, let me explain something. By the time the economy hits your kitchen table, it's too late to change. Okay? So the Democrats, in my opinion, need to go after Donald Trump on the economy because they can see that the economy is going down. The Federal Reserve is made up of governors. A lot of people do not know this. I had to learn this today, y'all. So I'm learning just like you guys are learning. You have a chairman and you have governors. Governors serve 14 years. Once they're appointed by a president, and then they serve 14 years. Throughout their 14 years, they're spread it out throughout the country. There's five governors, 5 or 6 governors. They're spread out throughout the country to keep the balance of the economy. So you may have a governor that's in Kansas City economy that may be different from Tampa, Florida economy. Totally different. So they all work together to try to balance the economy. Well, let me show y'all this, okay? I did a little digging. Let's bring this up on the screen here. This is the Federal Reserve right here. These are the governors here. There are 5. Jerome Powell is the chair. Richard Clarida is the vice chair. Randall Quarles is the vice chair for supervision. Michelle Bowman is also the vice, also on the board. You also have Brainerd. And you also have, so these are the people who make up these governors. Now, I understand that there are only 5 governors. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These people are appointed by the president of the United States. Okay? So, who appointed Jerome Powell? Jerome Powell, this is him. He is the chair. He was appointed by George Bush as a governor. Okay? All right? He was appointed by George Bush as a governor. He was on the governor's board all the way up to 2012. He is now running the Federal Reserves. Okay? We also see who appointed Brainerd. She was appointed she came in 2014. She was appointed by Obama. Okay. Also you have, Michelle Bowman. Michelle Bowman was appointed in 2018, to serve a 14-year term. This is Trump's. Now, you also have Clarita, or however you say that. All right. He was appointed vice chair. He came in, and Donald Trump appointed him as well. Okay. So you guys have to go and do some more research, because I got somebody texting me saying, okay, there may be some changes, but I want you guys to go and do some research. You got Quarles. Quarles was appointed, it looks here, in 2017. He was appointed vice chair. So he was appointed 2017, 2018. He was appointed by, I believe, Obama. So what am I saying here? Instead of me going through all this, what am I saying? This is what I'm saying. Right now, you have a head of the economy of a mixture of Obama economy. As these people finishes their 14-year term, Trump is going to start putting in his people to run the economy. I just told you Donald Trump wants to boom, right? So if Donald Trump puts in his people on the Federal Reserve, what do you think that's about to happen? The Federal Reserve is supposed to be nonpartisan, but these people are also part of the Republican Party and part of the Democratic Party. My opinion is that the economy is about to bust. I don't know when. I think it's going to be either later this year or the beginning of next year. I think it's going to be last quarter of 2019 or first quarter of 2020. That's just my prediction. I feel that the Democrats are making a mistake by not going after Donald Trump for the economy. Just my opinion. I think they're making a great mistake, because anyone should know you cannot spend without saving. And just so you know, yesterday the Feds dropped the interest rate. Today, Trump comes out and says we're going to slap 10% on taxes, which is tariffs, 10% on all Chinese products, which is horrible. And that's what he wants to do. So I think the Democrats, in my opinion, should focus their energy on going about bread and butter issues. I get it. The economy. I mean, the healthcare. I get it. The racial inequality. I get it. The reparations. I get all that. And I think those things need to be concerned. But let me tell you what really gets people concerned is their money. Do you actually think people are concerned about Donald Trump using racism? Do you think any of these corporations are concerned that he uses racist terms? No. Do you think that? They don't give a damn. They don't care. What they care about is their money. That's what they care about. When they start losing money, Donald Trump is gone. I promise you that. Then when they start losing money, he's gone. So in my opinion, I posted this today. In my opinion, I felt that Donald Trump is not running the presidency. And I explained to you why I feel that way. And this is why I need the Democrats to go after him in reference to this. This man is incompetent. We know that. We know exactly what he is. He did a speech. The last name, and he was there at a memorial trying to present people. Talking about the honoring various different people. He could not pronounce the man's last name. And I know you guys are probably saying it's trivial. So what the teleprompter had to do is the last name of this guy name was With, W-I-T-H-E. That's the name of his name. That's his name, his last name. But his speechwriters had to write W-I-T-H so that he will pronounce with. Now, not only did he pronounce with, he also spelled the man's last name wrong. He said W-I-T-H. That's what he did. It's on my timeline. It's on a video. You guys can go and watch it. He spelled with, W-I-T-H, as if that's the man's last name. The man is incompetent. The man wakes up around 11, 12 o'clock and he goes on his day. You and I both know, we've seen presidents over the past. You barely see them. Why? Because they're attending meetings. They are flying all over the country. They're doing more than hugging babies and kissing and signing autographs. They don't have time to do a rally. We talked about that. Even Obama could not even break out of that bubble. And people kept telling him, go to the people, go to the people. You saw Bush do it. You saw Clinton do it. You saw these people. But how is it that Donald Trump has the time to just Twitter fingers, watch television? How does he have that time? Hell, I don't even have the time to go about my day. And I know for God that I'm not busy just like a president is. So how does he have that time? This is where I think the Democrats is missing. The Democrats need to attack his record. How is it that he can be so competent to say he's a stable genius, and then he turns around and wakes up and has time? How are things getting done? He's not running the presidency. Somebody else is running it. Y'all don't sleep. Let's be real. He's not running the presidency. And there have been many presidents that did not run their full term. We know Ronald Reagan. We've heard about Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan, because Ronald Reagan, it was said that he had Alzheimer's. We know Nancy Reagan had a hand in policy making decisions. We know that. Let's go back to Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson had polio. We knew that his daughter sat in almost like his wife. And she sat in and she did a lot of policy making. So we know that there is no way a man that's 70 plus years old can have the schedule the way he's having it and not be sick. There's no way. I get it. He has doctors around him. He can get a shot of this, but this man lives on Ambien all day long. I just feel like, in my opinion, I feel like they just told him, listen, we don't give a damn what you do. Okay. Just give us what we want. And Paul Ryan just created a book and he talked in reference to how stupid and incompetent this president is. Paul Ryan, the former Speaker of the House, the former vice president candidate, said Donald Trump is dumb. Okay? There's no way. They said they had to break down government. So if you have a person who have no government experience, who comes into the White House, how do you think they're going to run the presidency? They're not. And that's the simple part. He doesn't run the presidency. I don't know who, but all I can tell you this. Whomever is running the presidency, whomever is making decisions to keep our men and people safe, you and I, thank you. Thank you. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this is because I am shocked that we have not had a terrorist attack on our soul because we have the most incompetent person in the White House. That's what I think the Democrats are missing. I think the Democrats need to sit down, talk about the economy, go on his record, and to say that this president is not even fit for office. It's just my opinion. He's not even fit. How? How can he be fit? I don't know who's running the presidency, but it is sure it's not Donald Trump. It's not him. It could be a gang of people. But every person who's left that White House and who's went rogue, what did they say? He's dumb. He's incompetent. There are rats all in the White House. What is going on? This is supposed to be the prestigious place of the free world. And you have a man who sits on the commode, who uses Twitter fingers all day long, watches news. How does he have that much time if he's supposed to be attending critical meetings? How does he have all that time? He doesn't, because he's not doing it. Other people are doing it. He's sitting back on his golden throne and people are coming and telling him stuff and he doesn't know. And they're filling him in. They're giving him bullet points because he can't read all of this to even comprehend all of this stuff. I'm telling you all this. I don't believe he's running that White House. I don't believe he's running at White House at all. I believe there's a gang of people who have put together and said, we cannot allow this country to go down. I don't care if this man is incompetent. We cannot allow this country to go down. The Democrats, in my opinion, need to focus their energy and going after those types of things. Go after his economy. Go after the fact that he has appointed these people in the reserve as governors. Go after the fact that all they're doing is spend, spend, spend. Go after that. But the problem is simply this. We in America don't move until we see fire in front of our face. You guys are sitting here listening to me right now. I have said to you earlier this year that something is going to happen to the economy. You've heard me tonight, and you will hear me again. Something's going to happen to the economy. And a lot of you guys will sit here and listen to me and say, nope, it's not going to happen. Why? Because I just got a raise. It's not going to happen. Why? Because I just had this. I'm telling you, the signs are on the wall. Do not wait for the fire to be in your doorstep for you to say, oh my God, I need to put out this fire, because it's going to be too late. Learn from being proactive. Be proactive. Understand that there's no way this economy can hold. And you cannot have, and you got to understand this. Look who we have in charge. Could you imagine if we had a terrorist attack, an outside terrorist attack, not a domestic terrorist attack? Can you imagine if we had an outside terrorist attack with him in charge? Can you imagine if we had a recession with him in charge? Can you imagine that? I want you guys to think about 2008, because some of us have forgotten how hard it was in 2007. Some of us forgot about we didn't have any money. Some of us forgot about 2007. Some of us forgot about what happened to us. We forgot about it. So let's remember, this is going to be worse than 2008, in my opinion. That's all I have. And I feel like the Democrats are making a big mistake by not going after this man's record, by not going after the presidency, not going after him. I get it, Joe Biden, whatever. I get it. You got to make it. But I want a Democrat to stand up and say, you know what? It's above me now with y'all Democrats. I need to go after this dude. That's what I want somebody to stand up and say. I would love for Kamala Harris to stand up and say, I'm a prosecutor. And that's what I do. I prosecute crimes. I want her to go up there and say, this is the Mueller report. Let me explain to you, American people, what this criminal did per the Mueller report. That's what I would like her to do. She's the only prosecutor on the field. I get it. Joe Biden was a defense attorney. And I get all that stuff. But I would love for a Democrat to stand flat foot on a stage and say to themselves, this president is not a president. I would love for that to happen. And I hope for God it will happen. All right. That's all I got. Let me go to some of your questions while I was talking. I'm sorry, guys. Shonda, you said go to YouTube and look up CNBC videos from late 2007. They were calling the economy Goldilocks. Incomes hit an all-time high. It was a boom, then came the bust. We're going to repeat that. Will, you said I got laid off 2007. I remember the hard times. Correct. Shelly, you said maybe he's hoping to bail out big companies and give extra wealth by lie. They need that, paying them off. Will there be any money? That's a big thing. Then we go on to say, I have never forgot. I stopped my education in 2008 to get into the workforce for my daughter. Anthology. It's. I want us to really understand that what's about to happen, and some of you guys are understanding that. And Shelly, the bailout. You guys probably remember George Bush bailing out the banks. A lot of people think it was Obama. George Bush bailing out the banks. You remember that? Bail out Wall Street. You guys remember Obama bailing out the auto industry. Actually, let me go back before Obama. George Bush bailed out the banks. Then George Bush turned around and gave us a stimulus to reboot the economy. You remember you guys were getting, I think we all got, what, $100-something check? No, it was like $1,000, for a family to stimulate the economy. So that came out, and that was a stimulus package. Even Clinton gave a stimulus package. Obama came in and he bailed out the auto industry. If there is going to be money, I don't believe, and I know it's probably long, y'all. I'm sorry, but I do not believe that the people will allow Donald Trump to pass a stimulus. I don't believe that. And this is where his problems are going to come, because he doesn't understand there is a high and then there's a low. He doesn't understand that. And you're going to still need the American people to ride with you. So even if the American people don't ride with you, you're not going to get nothing. Can you imagine? I want you guys to imagine right now that Donald Trump comes to you right now to your television and says that we need to pass a stimulus package. He will get absolutely no help. Look at the government the way it is now. He will get no help. They will not pass a stimulus package. I can promise you that. Not now. Not all the mess that Donald Trump has done. They won't pass one. They won't pass one. It just won't happen. So we have to get to a point why this is important. When I keep saying the changing of the guard, we need to get rid of him. And I can't say that any further. We got to get rid of him. And I just showed you about the Federal Reserve, how he's appointing people. That's a 14-year. There's also the courts. Now, I hear a lot of people saying to me, Mark, the courts really does it matter? Hell yeah, it matters. It matters because you have issues that are on the Criminal Court of Appeals. There are on the federal level. And don't just think, I don't want you guys to just think Supreme Court. I want you to also think about federal appointments. Also, federal prosecutors. The president appoints a federal prosecutor in the district. Just like in Tulsa, we had an appointment from Obama. Danny's gonna kill me. I didn't say his last name. Danny was appointed. I can't think of his last name. Danny was appointed by Obama, and then he had to leave when Obama left office. And now we have Trent Scholes. He was appointed by Donald Trump. The president has a lot of power in appointments. So what happens is, and in my opinion, Donald Trump has shaped conservative America for the next 25 years. Conservative America for the next 25 years. That's what he has done because of the appointments. Even though he's gone, even though he'll be gone, even though we have what the conservatives gone, but you still have a conservative court. You still will have a conservative Supreme Court. You have conservative federal benches. You would have conservative Federal Reserve. You have conservative, and I'm not saying conservatives are bad. I'm just saying these are different conservatives. These are extreme Donald Trump people. Okay. I'm rambling, so I don't want you guys to keep you any further. I'm gonna go to a couple more questions. Shelly, you said I could see him ding an executive order or some sort. I honestly think he's looking for many ways to pay off those big companies. Let me explain to you, Shelly. Executive orders are an order. It doesn't come with money. He has to get money from Congress, and that's part of the problem. A lot of people said that Obama should have done an executive order for the health care. Obama could have done an executive order for reparations. Obama could have done executive order for those things. Well, executive orders don't give money. Okay, so it has to be funded so you can have an order, just like Donald Trump. Donald Trump wanted to he did an executive order on $5 billion for a wall. Well, Congress was like, no, we're not going to do it. So he wanted to allocate and move $2 billion from the Defense Department to fund his project. And he went to court, and actually the conservative courts turned around and said, Donald Trump, you can do that. See what happens when you appoint people? He said, Donald Trump, you can do that. So now the military is going to be minus $2 billion because the conservative courts have said that Donald Trump can roll $2 billion from the military fund to fund his pet project. Why? Because Donald Trump said it is an emergency. It's a national emergency. That's what happened. So a executive order does not come with money. So you can pass a ton of orders. It doesn't come with money. You can see him trying it. Absolutely. Shonda, you said executive orders didn't give money until now. The Supreme Court just let him do. Yes, that's what I was just talking about. So, okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Bert, I see you on. Bert, you probably want to watch my thing in the beginning. I talked about the Office of Independent Monitoring in reference to my reply about the mayor and all that, because I kind of went on a rant. So if you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it over. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you. Take care of yourself. I see you next week. Take care. Peace.